Hello everyone, you are welcome to today's book review, The Five Love Languages of Teenagers by Gary Chapman. I am Adebayo Abiojo. Today we'll be looking at the chapter 4 of the book, The Five Love Languages of Teenagers. The last time in chapter 3, we talked about one of the five love languages, which is words of affirmation. Today, we'll be looking at physical touch. Remember, we said every human, teenagers, children, all of us have what we call love languages, and there are five in numbers. We have treated one. Today, we'll be looking at the second one, which is physical touch. Everybody knows that by touching somebody you love, you are filling their emotional love tank. Children, adults, old, whoever it is, physical touch is a sign of love. Is it the same thing with teenagers? Yes and no. Because physical touch for teenagers depends on the timing. It depends on when, how, and where you touch them. Especially for a child whose primary love language is physical touch, it's very, very important for you to know the right time to administer this love language to your teenager, especially for those whose primary love language is physical touch. Now, it depends on the mood they are. Even in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it says there is time for everything. So if there is anything that needs proper timing, as in the five love languages, it is physical touch. A parent, as described by Gary Chapman, knew when her son wants to be touched and when he doesn't want to be touched. And she said that when the boy comes in and slams the door, she knows that he doesn't want any touch. But if he closes the door gently, that means he wants some hug. And another parent said that her own daughter, when she wants physical touch, she will come closer when talking to you. But when she's far away at the other end of the room, that means she doesn't want you to talk. She doesn't want you to hug her. She doesn't want physical touch. So there is appropriate time, there is appropriate manner that by which you can administer this love language, physical touch, to your teenager. You don't hug a teenager, you don't administer physical touch when they are angry, because they feel that you are trying to control them. Remember, the two teams of teenagers, they are trying to get their independence and also self-identity. So when you want to administer any of the love languages, you have to check very well. Is it going to administer independence or self-identity, positive self-identity to this teenager, because they don't want to be controlled? So sometimes you may have to do trial and error for you to know the best time that your child wants physical touch. So as I was saying, when a teenager is angry, they don't want you to touch them, or when they are in the midst of their peers. Remember, when a child is very small, they want you to hug them, they want you to kiss them, but by the time they get to teenage years, they want you to do it at the appropriate time. So I said, sometimes you have to do trial and error before you can really get what they really want. Teenagers are very, very funny, so you need to continue to try. Another time they want you to hug them is maybe when they come home with an accomplishment. Maybe they just passed an exam or they just accomplished something in school. They want physical touch. They want you to give them good words of affirmation and that physical touch, especially if that is their primary love language. But when they are in the midst of their friends, you are hugging them, you are touching them, it will look like you are treating them like babies or like a child. Saying the place by which you administer the physical touch also matters. For a teenager, like I said the other time, if you touch them while they are with their friends, they see it like you are treating them like a kid, so they don't want it. A parent was talking about his teenager that before he was 13, he was always touching him at the back, rubbing him at the back. But immediately he turned 13, immediately he got to the teenage years, he was not appreciating it again. So he was wondering what happened. Is it that this child does not love me again? It's just that he did not know the manner, the appropriate manner and the appropriate place where he needed to be touching the teenager. So we need to know the appropriate place. Normally they don't want you to touch them in the midst of their friends or peers. They see it as you are treating them like kids, but they will appreciate it when you do it at the comfort of your homes, especially in the midst of other family members. For example, you may pat or hug your teenager when the grandparents are there, just to brag about the teenager, or when they come home from school. A teenager was saying that she loves to go home to the hug of her mom, because the school year has been very tough. But when she gets home with the hug of her mom, she's assured of success at the end of the day. So we need to master the appropriate time and the appropriate manner. Because a child loves you, hugging them, carrying them when they were small, does not mean that that is how they will continue to be when they become a teenager. So we need to always do things that will appeal to their emotions, and also appeal to their quest for independence and self-identity. So the manner by which you touch them also matters. It also matters. You know, there are many kinds of touches, as in, I'm not talking about sexuality now. I'm talking about the manner by which we do it, that is, and the place geographically. So a physical touch can be a hug, it can be a arm wrestle, it can be like hugging, especially when teenagers are sad, or when they are down, or when they make an accomplishment. Note that accomplishment, you are celebrating it at home, not when they are in the midst of their peers. If you are a a parent to a teenager, you would have noticed this. So we need to desist from it, since the purpose of showing love language is for us to fill their emotional tank. So we should not do things that will make them to back off, or things that will not make them appreciate it. And we should not do things on our own terms, that okay, I feel this is the way you should do it, I feel this is the right way. Remember, your teenagers are also individuals, they are also human beings. They have their own personality, which may be different from yours. So we should not take offenses that in that. Do it the way they will love it, since what you are trying to achieve is to fill their emotional tank. So we should not do things that will make them not to appreciate it, or things that will not appeal to their independence or self-identity. So the place where you do it and the manner by which you do it is very important. You can also use physical touch to to correct a child. Gary Chapman was talking about a woman who used this to correct her daughter. She was holding the hands of the daughter and she was telling her, do you know that I really love you and I don't want you to go astray? When you are coming home late, you should inform me. With that, she was able to explain to the child by administering her her love language, and also using it to correct her. So all these are the things that we needed. All that we'll be looking at inappropriate touches, and in that book the author was like he wishes that he was not going to write that particular paragraph of inappropriate touches. But with what we have in the 21st century, we have seen a situation whereby fathers or relatives touches teenagers inappropriately. And number one that we'll be looking at is abuse, physical abuse, and anger. That is beating a teenager anyhow, whenever they offend, whenever they do anything wrong, beating them, showing your anger through beating, or doing what seems like an abuse is not a way of physical touch, is not a way of expressing love to them, and we need to desist from that. And if you know you have been doing that, you need to apologize and change for better. If you see that it's an anger issue, you can talk to a counselor or a coach on emotional intelligence so that you'll be able to control your anger, because this can have a lasting damage in the life of that child. We have seen a lot of violent children today just because of physical abuse through beating. So we need to desist from that. Another one is sexual abuse. A few cases of sexual abuse has occurred whereby a father, a stepfather, or a mother's boyfriend will be touching the teenager inappropriately, and they will be threatening them that if you tell your mother, I'm going to kill you. We need to desist from such. It's not even an expression of love. You cannot deceive a teenager that you as a father or a stepfather or whichever adult you are to that child is trying to show love. No, it's self-gratification, and it's very, very wrong. And for a mother or a father that is aware of such and is still covering it, you are also an accomplice, and you should be the one that would even expose such attitude. It's very wrong to do that towards a teenager, because that teenager will even see you that you are not able to defend them, so they see all of you as the same thing. So it's not a matter of embarrassment, it's a matter of trying to guard and protect the future of your teenager. So if you are doing that, you should desist from it and seek for help. And if you are a mother, don't cover it up. If you are a father, we have seen cases of homosexuality too in the family, but that one is not common like heterosexuality. So we need to be very, very careful about all these things. We need to help our teenagers. We need to help shape them so that they will not become a disgruntled adult, or they will not become an adult that will just that will be incomplete, because we have seen a lot of adults behaving as a result of what they went through when they were younger or when they were teenagers. So we need to be very, very careful. So an advice on this love language this physical touch as a love language is, you as a family, if you want to develop what you'll be doing, especially for your teenagers whose love languages are physical touch, is to, number one, you can hold hands together when you are praying. Maybe when you are doing a family prayer, you can hold hands together. You can have a special way of and shaking your teenagers that will be peculiar to you or your family. Sometimes you can hug them, you can show them love when they come back from school. They look forward to it. A lot of teenagers still want their parents. This is not to say that the father too should not hug, or they should, you know what is appropriate. When you are doing the right thing, you know it, but for you not to do it at all is what will be wrong, because when these children are not able to get that love or this their primary love language at home, they will seek it elsewhere, and they can seek for it from the wrong place. But when you're already showing them all this at home, whatever anybody wants to use to bobo them outside will not have any impact in their lives. So we need to map out strategies by which we can communicate the love languages of our teenagers to them, so that we continue to fill their emotional love tank and they can be a complete human. So this will be the end of chapter 4. In the next video, we'll be looking at chapter 5. Till then, I hope you are applying all this. These are things that will really help us in our relationship with our teenagers. See you next time. Bye.